Good morning and welcome back to CTRL+S. I'm David Block. Welcome into my classroom. This is my daily vlog where I document what it takes for me to run my graphic design program. And today we're going to be, basically it's Monday, we're going to get back into it. This is actually going to be one of the busiest weeks of the school year because we're, first of all, turning in the very first project in digital design, and in visual communications they're turning in their InDesign project, and we're going to move on to the next thing for them. We also are getting ready for the pop-up shop on Wednesday, so visual communications period 4 is going to lend a hand in that respect. They are also, in terms of setting up the booth, they're gonna lend a hand there. But the advanced and honors class, they got to get ready because Wednesday is the first pop-up shop, and meanwhile they're working on their client projects. But I'll get into all of that. But first, let me just talk about what I did this weekend. And so this weekend I came in to produce a couple of things for the pop-up shop. To be honest, I want that class, I want all of them to get their hands in and start producing this stuff, but we have a very short amount of time, and so I just wanted to get them done. I did have one student who offered to join me on Saturday, which she did. We came in for about 3 hours, and let me show you what we did. We produced some of the City of Gold t-shirts right there. And so we did a number of them, did about, I don't know, a dozen or so in the gold, and then we've got some that we've already done in white. And so we're going to do some more of this, not just on that design, we've got another design that we're going to produce some shirts with. And so we're actually also going to be doing some laser engraving. I've got this bag. Actually, I've got about 5 of these from last year. So we're going to utilize them. They're basically keychains made of wood, and that will allow us to laser engrave that design right on the keychains. And then on the opposite side, we can take the time to do a customization. We can put each customer's name right there on the keychain. And what we do is we charge, I think, $5 per keychain and $5 for the customization. So make a little bit of money, and it goes right into our ASB account. And then at the end of the year, we'll utilize it for whatever we need to utilize it for. In digital design and illustration, all 3 classes actually need to be at a specific point because their project is due on Friday, so I want them to be through their refined sketches by today. If they're not there yet, we may have a little bit of a problem in terms of getting their work done. So this may end up being pushed out another week. We'll see how it goes. But I do want them to be done so that we can move on to the Photoshop exercises so that we can do the movie poster projects. So we'll see how that goes, but I need them to be focused on how their mark looks with the typography that they've chosen. How is the spacing? Does the typography match the style of design that they're going for? Does it match the purpose for the logo? And how's the craftsmanship? I've got some students that are taking the paintbrush in Illustrator, and if you're familiar with the paintbrush, it draws with a stroke. And so they're getting a bunch of lines and lines and lines, and they think they're drawing with a solid fill, but it's very messy. It's not the best way to do it. So I'm teaching them to use the blob brush instead, or to use live paint, or to simply fill it in. If it's a solid object, they can just fill it with a color. So, and there are lots of different ways to do it, but there are also lots of ways to do it wrong. So I need them to be able to transition into Illustrator, and if they haven't already, at least by tomorrow. And so, and the purpose for all of this, I want them to have portfolio-ready work. I need them to do the best work that they can. I don't want them to settle for less, and they need to understand how to clean these things up, how to get good craftsmanship, and how to clean up the typography. So that's what I spend my day doing, is going around and correcting things like that. I'm also going to share my progress on a personal project that I've been working on. Is actually, I do this from time to time, whether it's a personal project or I work with a client. It is actually, when I say personal project, I'm not getting paid for it. So it is for a client. It's actually for the choir department in the school. I do this every year. I have designed the Prism logo. It's their big spring presentation, the spring show. And so, I do a different one for them every year with the different themes that they come up with. And this year it is stage to film or something like that. They still haven't come up with the tagline, but it's having to do with motion pictures. So they're doing music from movies. So the style that I'm coming up with is a mix. It's kind of like a musical note that turns into a P for Prism, and then it's got the aperture in there for the lens for the camera. I'm still coming up with ideas, but my point is that I share this with my students. I show them the struggles that I go through, the sketching, the research, all of the stuff that I go through that they are going through currently. So just to show them that it's a real thing. It's actually what I do in my career as a graphic designer. What they're doing is what we do as graphic designers. In visual communications this week, we've got to get through the magazine, and so they are essentially at this point ready to start gathering their content. A lot of them have started writing actually their own articles, but I told them they can actually just go ahead and research it and find articles to put into the project. I have no problem with doing that, with them doing that. They will be creating the advertisement. They're going to create the masthead, the title, the headline that they use for the magazine, the name of the magazine, and all of that. And they're going to create everything else. They'll create the look and everything within. So I'm not worried about them actually writing the content as much. I just want them to get basically to understand how to use the program even deeper, because this class leads to the advanced and honors class, and so they must know how to use InDesign in order to work with clients that want projects that should be created in InDesign, right? And so that's what this whole thing is leading to, is getting them up to that design rescue level. And part of that is being able to select the right typography for the project that they're working on, just in the same way that the students working on in digital design are working on the logo. They need the right type for that particular logo. The magazine has to be represented by the right typography. The letter form is very important. And some of my students are actually designing their own letters specifically for this project. I love that. Later in the year, we will have a font design project where we will create our own alphabet, and we're going to use something called Font Self. It's an application that turns your vector illustrations into letters, into a true type font, or into a font that you can actually use in the computer. Now, my period 4 visual communications class, they come right before lunch, and so what I've done is I have recruited them to be our setup crew for the pop-up shop. So just like we did last year, they have an opportunity to participate a little bit and join in with the celebration at the end of the year. If they help out, they get to celebrate with us. And basically what it is, during 4th period, we just take a break from the project, and I'll give them additional time to work on their project, since this does eat into that time. But we'll just take the easy up and all the tables and all the equipment and all the supplies and get it all set up, so that at lunch the honors and advanced class can just come in. The perch can just come in and work at the booth, and then they'll do the tear down at the end, because 5th period after lunch, that's when they've got a class with me. That's the advanced and honors class. So that's what's going to happen with visual communications today. And in the advanced and honors graphic design class, or design rescue, we are getting ready for the perch on Wednesday, and so we are preparing merchandise, getting designs finalized. I have 3 designs that we're working with right now. The City of Gold was the first one, but the second I'm actually currently burning. You can see right now the laser engraver. Let me bring you a little closer to that. I don't know if you can see it doing its thing, little by little. And there's the design right there. So essentially the goal here is to try to burn this in time for them to be able to make some more t-shirts with this particular design. We'll see how it goes. This actually will take about 6 hours to burn. So I have to keep an eye on this. I can't leave it. I can pause it from time to time, but it's my responsibility to make sure that this doesn't burn down the classroom. I also need to make sure that my advanced class is ready to go for the November trip, where I've got a field trip planned up at Cal State Northridge. They have something that they've done. This is the second annual conference that's made specifically for students. It's called the Creative Path Summit. Basically, I mean, you can find creative conferences all over the place, but they're not geared towards students. They're geared for professionals. And that's what this is all about. This is giving them an opportunity to meet with professionals, have their portfolios reviewed, and to basically get into the conversation about a career in the creative industry before they even leave high school. So, that's awesome. That happens November 14th and 15th, and that is an all day, both days, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I have not the entire class, but I've got a small group that will be joining me for that trip. And that's pretty much what we've got going on in the graphic design program here at El Dorado High School today. And so thank you again for joining me for another Control-S. Once again, if you have any questions whatsoever, if you have any comments, if there's something you'd like me to cover, please leave me a message in the comments below. Send me an email directly. I'm okay either way, and I will respond. Take care, everybody. Have a great afternoon.